I don't know stuff. I only know what I need to know.
All right.
That way.
I just started recording. So for anyone that's watching the recording, we were talking about the fact that Amber is a former Plexus, which is a shake competitor. Although if you were on the call or saw the recording of the call, I never refer to our stuff as shakes. I always say Shakeology because I think shakes is it can be a degrading or a negative connotation about our product, and what's in a shake isn't what's in Shakeology. So
it's true. And I have to say, after that call, I started saying about the vitamin, and I actually had people being like, I am going to try it. I like that. And I was like, how long have I been like,
we're always learning. We're always learning. I actually went through my pantry on Instagram stories today, and it was very boring. I think I'm going to do this in a few weeks when it's not me like opening up canisters. It didn't have my face in it. I thought of a bazillion other ways to make it better, but I was like, here are my 2 flavors of Shakeology. This is my recharge. This is my recovery. This is my go-go juice. And this is what they all do. And here's my hydrate. Oh, and here's my 17 canisters of backup of everything because I forget to turn off auto ship on things sometimes. But anyway, it's good for giveaways as long as you're not past the expiration date, right? And the fact of the matter is the point of my Instagram story was this, I'm taking the recovery because I'm so sore with T20, and recovery truly is a protein shake. And I was going into, like, many people think Shakeology is a protein shake. That's totally different. My Shakeology is my vitamin. It contains blah, 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 blah. My recovery is 20 grams of protein that I take instantly when I am still sweating. Like, I take it immediately to recharge my muscles. And then I really didn't go into recharge because I can't remember what's in it. I'm like, it does something while I'm sleeping, but we'll have to come back to that.
I'd be interested to see what happens, like if you get people really talking about it.
Yeah, I haven't been on Instagram in like 6 hours, so I'll have to check later tonight and see.
Yeah.
But whatever we're doing is always planting seeds, right? Always planting seeds. I just actually sold a challenge pack today of somebody who I have no idea who she is. She lives in Texas. I went and looked back to how many times I have invited her to either a flash sale, my virtual community, a challenge group. Do you want more information about this or that? 9 invites, and she did not respond to any of them. And usually Tracy T helps me with those, and she's like, do you just want me to like defriend this person? They're ghosting you. They're not replying. I'm like, until they tell me to stop asking or until they say not interested, I'm going to keep asking. And here I looked back 9 times and the girl just bought a challenge pack.
Yep.
Since 2015, I've been asking. Just never know.
That's the thing. You never know when it's someone's time. You never, ever know.
I know.
And that's what, Amber, I was getting across today when I was telling you about the objections. Like, you'll be able to hear in their voice if it's like a true no, or if they're like, I'm just overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. And you're like, well, guess what? I can help you be a little less overwhelmed because I have blah, blah, blah,
She was this person was kind of firm with me. Like, she was like, I'm not in a place to do this right now. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, in that regard, I was like, sure. But I get your point. You got to judge it. And I can come back to it now. It's been like a couple months and be like, hey, I know you weren't comfortable. You want to start taking maybe some baby steps. So even though it didn't hit directly on the mark, it still sparked ideas hearing you talk about it.
Good. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Because sometimes someone's just overwhelmed, or they're like, really like, no, I'm not interested, but they don't know the words to use. And you can dig a little deeper by asking questions. Like, what are you overwhelmed with? Are you tired? Well, I can help with that. Or, if they have a newborn, it's kind of, I've had that where they're like, you can help my newborn sleep. And I'm like, well, no, I can't do that. But
also I know we're talking about social media today, but I just want to say really quick, a lot of times when someone tells me they're overwhelmed, my comeback question to them is, do you read? Do you read? And 50% of the time the answer, people either like to read or they don't. And when they say, yes, I like to read, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have some great books for you that are going to help you. And that can be The Compound Effect. That can be a Rachel Hollis book. That can be a Darren Hardy book. That can be, so also like, I don't know if we always talk about our personal development. It can be a 25-minute Brooke Castillo podcast on the Life Coach School, on mindset, or on, goal shame or whatever. Like the more PD you do, the more that you're going to be able to offer it up to people. And I can't tell you the amount of people that give me the excuse that they just can't get out of bed in the morning, and I have them read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. I have an email from Lori Warren I went to high school with. She's like, oh my gosh, this book is working. I'm in your challenge group, and I've gone 2 days in a row of waking up at 5:30 in the morning. That's her non-scale victory. I don't really care what she does with her nutrition or anything else. She's waking up early to push play. And for some people, that's like the first victory for them, you know? So don't forget about the PD as well when people say they're overwhelmed, because that's part of the mind, body, soul of getting well.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's always going to be objections. And so anytime Alicia's like, why do you keep saying objective? It's an objection. I was driving her nuts yesterday. She boxed last week and she was like, driving me crazy. I'm like, sorry, I get it confused. Said, you're always going to have an objection. And just because this week we're going to be on social media, if you get hung up on one, come into the group and one of us will go live. Amber, I fell short. I was supposed to come live for you yesterday, but Juliet picked up for me. So if they continue to come, just because we're not talking about it, don't think that you can't bring it back up in our Facebook group.
Yeah, totally.
So let's talk about social media. Is everyone using Facebook?
Yes.
Show of hands. Okay. Is everyone using Instagram? The news feed. Is everyone using Instagram? Okay, Amber's not. That's okay. Don't feel shame.
I don't know how to use a lot of it.
Okay, that's cool. What about Instagram stories?
Yes.
Lauren? Okay, no. And Angela says yes to all. Okay. So show of hands, I'm going to ask first of all, what are you using more, Facebook or Instagram? So who's using Instagram more? Okay. And who's using Facebook more? All right. So we're about 50-50. That sure makes it easy. We'll talk about both things. Is anyone using Twitter?
I do, but just cross post.
Okay. Me too. Is anyone using
Snapchat?
Snapchat, yeah. No. Lauren, you are? Amber is a little bit. Okay. She's a teenager. Makes sense. Okay. And then what about Pinterest? Is anyone searching or doing anything on Pinterest? Amber is. Trisha. Okay. Okay, cool. So I think we're going to spend some time on Facebook and Instagram. Angela says, oh, she forgot all about Pinterest.
Can I ask a question really quick?
Yeah, sure.
So is it, you can post to Instagram and then it automatically populates to your Facebook? Is that true?
To your,
yeah. Yes, you can link it all, but just remember that the algorithm for Facebook does not give love to things that are not organically posted.
Okay.
So like I have it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I have it go to my like page.
Say what? I'm sorry.
I have it go to my like page.
See, that's it's going to some weird page that like automatically, I think I might automatically create it that I can like track it and see people and who's seeing my site and all. Is that a like page?
Yeah.
Probably like page, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And if it's something big, I do it, as Tracy said, like I'll post by itself, like if it's something that I really want attention, but a lot of times just to like save, I post it to Instagram, I have it go to my like page, I have it go to Twitter, and then I post I usually post on Facebook first because that's where my audience on Facebook is usually the morning. My audience on Instagram is at the night. So I usually wait to post at night for Instagram.
So we're not duplicating a bunch of trainings out there. When Pam and Alicia were in LA for the New Leader Conference, Alicia did a couple live streams of the training in Faithfully Fit Central. I listened to the Amy Rada one on Instagram. That's a pretty good training. It's like 26 minutes long. That's a pretty good one. Amy Rada is a former school teacher, a kindergarten teacher who turned top 10 Beachbody coach in like 3.5 years. And she went from like 500 followers on Instagram to 75,000. I want to throw out there, and this is the first time I'm publicly talking about it because I just tried it. I went to a place called PA Crunch. Okay, this is actually a really cool exercise to do. PA Crunch, you'll have to Google them. I found out about them in a Northeast mastermind group that I'm in with 5 Star Diamonds. And PA Crunch is basically a company. They do a lot of things, but one of the branches of their service is they help you find, they have a strategy where they find you followers on Instagram. Okay. And I did it. They give you a 3-day trial. It absolutely costs you nothing. You don't have to give a credit card or anything. You have to fill out like your email. So now they pretty much spam me with emails. But what this girl told me was that she gained like 50 followers in the 3 days, and that they kept emailing her to continue the service. And every time they would email her and follow up, she waited out like 3 months, and the price got so low that now she negotiated $10 a month, and they basically work her account full time. So I was like, all right, I'll try it out before I say anything to the team. Like, I wanted to get on Faithfully Fit Central and be like, everyone needs to go check this out, because she was raving about it. So about 2 weeks ago, I get in contact with them. I'm like, I would like to start a free trial. Someone emailed me immediately. And the first thing they asked you, this is a really good exercise, is, okay, so I'm going to go follow a bunch of people, and they're going to follow you back. And then in like 6 hours time, they go back and unfollow. They have this whole strategy so that they unfollow people that don't follow you. And you give them your username and you give them your password. But what they need to know is, what are your interests? Who do you want to follow you? Go. And you literally are like, okay. And you've got to list out who is your target. And it makes you reevaluate, like, who am I telling this person to go find, right? So I started writing things out. I typed things out. They want like 10 to 20 things that they can go and play around with hashtags. So I gave her those things, and I said to her, here are my parameters. Here's what I am. Who's who I am. This is who I want to follow me. I do not want any Beachbody coaches. Do not follow Beachbody coaches. She did pretty good. I ended up getting about 120 new followers in 3 days. I started, because all of a sudden you start to see weird people in your feed, because they're also following other people that you might want to engage with. And I only had to defriend like 5 Beachbody coaches, which wasn't a very bad ratio, considering I gained 110 new friends who started following me back. So what that is doing is, that is now funneling new people. I have new people watching my Instagram stories, and I have new people that are starting to interact with some of my posts. But it was great for 2 reasons. One, it gave me a chance to really sit down and craft out, like, as I continue to change and evolve and my kids get older and are involved in new things, my target market changes. Right now I'm like a dog owner. This is like all new to me. Like, there's a whole new world out there, as Juliet knows. Now I'm a gymnastics mom because my daughter just had her first competition. So I'm starting to target all these new people, and it's very time consuming. Like, you can go and create your own hashtags and go do what this company basically did for me, but it takes hours and hours of time, and you have nothing to lose. No credit card to give for someone to go for 3 days and work your account.
Did I hear you say correctly? You gave them your username and password?
Yeah. I know. It's very hard. I know. The control freak in me wants to keep it, but it is a legit company that other Beachbody coaches are using. And you know what? Now that my free trial is over, guess what? I changed my password again. Right? So they are in your account. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So PA Crunch, go try it. Yeah. Alinda.
So I heard about a company that does that as well. I think they're local to here, and I don't have it right on me, even though I'm in my office at home, but I learned about this for my regular day job, because I do marketing and social media stuff for work. So I will look up the name of the company that I know, see if it's the same, and if it's not, I'll give you guys the name as well. I haven't used them, but the marketing company that I work with has used them and recommended them, and they've been great. So maybe just another company where you could do another free trial or something.
I think that, yeah, you have nothing to lose by doing a couple of free trials. And some of the people in this mastermind group that actually found a company that they like has used them for like 3 or 4 months, and they have gone up by 3,000 to 5,000 new followers. And as you're going, now all my job is, now that I have the people following me, is to go and engage with the people that look like they're going to follow me. Like, I have a lot of like hairstylists that are not actual hairstylists, but actually are like a product company that that's not really the target market. A hairstylist, yeah, got one on the Zoom call right now. But you can unfriend who is not part of your market. But your job then is simply to just engage with people that look like they would be your tribe. Because one of the biggest things that I hear from brand new coaches, or even coaches that have been doing this for like a year, is like, I'm having a hard time hitting Success Club. I'm having a hard time hitting Success Club. And I'm like, okay, so are you adding new friends into your market? And if the answer is no, then you're basically retelling the same story on your social media to the same audience. So what are you doing to get fresh people following you?
Trace, can I interject? Oh, Linda, go ahead.
Well, I just had a quick question because I feel like I'm just starting to get involved in doing this kind of stuff. And I mean, I know it's different for everyone, but what do you think like your conversion rate is? Like, okay, you get 500 new people to follow you. What percentage on average do you think actually turn into real customers?
That's a great question. I think it's way too early to give you an answer because I just did it the week before.
Oh, no. I mean, like, even when you've been mining new followers yourself.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, the only way that I know how to track that through my Facebook is I have a list of every single Facebook friend. Right. And if I eliminate my cousin's brother's cousin, who I don't ever want in my challenge group, and I look at those people, I'd say after 4.5 years, like it's pretty good because it's those examples I'm giving you where I'm still asking for the 9th time, even though they're not giving me an answer, yes or no, you know? Right. So I think that it's our job as coaches, as we get new followers, you have to determine if they are part of the tribe that you want to build, just as they have to determine if you're that coach they want to work with. It should be a mutual.
Yeah.
It's never us picking who we want to work with. I'm hoping that everyone who joins my team sees something in me that they would want to be my partner, you know?
I find it much more natural to invite those people as well when they feel like they're part of your tribe, when you know they're not your people and you're trying to like invite, it's a lot harder to invite them.
Totally. Yeah. And in the beginning, you're so anxious and excited. And I remember I look back to some of the people I asked to be a coach, and now I'm like, that's not my tribe. I would never ask that person. But I'm wiser now because I've worked with coaches that aren't my tribe. I'm not theirs. They're not mine. And it's no one's fault. It just didn't work out. And it wasted a lot of time and energy.
Yeah. And I mean, to that point, like, stories are so important. Like I've had in the last 6 months, I've had like people sign up as coaches because they've been watching me, and they're like, I've been watching other people. And I've had a lot of people sign up as customers because they're like, I'm watching your stories, and you know what, I failed at X, Y, and Z, and I just feel like your energy or whatever. And it's so funny to me because I'm like, oh, all right, you know, like that's so flattering. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. But that's, you know, being consistent and being yourself on the stories has really, really, really helped. And I literally in the morning watch who it is and I send a message like, hey, if you ever want any more information about what I'm doing, just let me know. It's not gross. It's not weird. I see that they're looking, you know, and so it's like, and I've had a couple people be like, oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. I didn't know how to even approach you, but yeah, I totally want more information. And then they buy a challenge pack literally on the spot. And one thing that I wanted to talk about, because I've been talking to my girls about this that are like, I don't have, you know, I can't find new people. And this is so elementary, but like we forget about it. The find your friends on Facebook. Like I literally have just recently started doing that again. And there'll be people from the town that Tracy lives in, but that I used to live in, that have like 30 friends in common. And I go through it to make sure there's no other girl, you know, like Tracy's not friends with, or like Pam or Megan, you know, anyone that has been on the team. And I have literally probably 30 people. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they're not in common with any of the girls I know from Darien. And I've just friended them. Like, I don't question it anymore. When I first started, yes, I was like, they're going to think it's so weird. They don't know me. Like, why are they like, they're not going to accept it, but they're watching my stories now. So when I do that, when I go through and kind of like, or I'll go, like I was telling, I go into my Boxer, like when I'm like, ugh, I need some people, I'll go into like different pages, dyslexic page, my Boxer page, and I'll put a post up, whether it's a question or a picture of the Boxers. And then anyone that likes it, I will literally go to their page and just look and see, you know what, let me see if I can friend them. And then I am very strategic with what kind of post I put up that day. So like I will do this maybe once a month or once every 2 months. And then I'm very specific. So like I'll do a before and after picture. Like I'll get really bold in something I did, or I will put like a very vulnerable post up. But I do that very strategically after I have friended a number of people, or a number of people have accepted it. Instagram is that's different. Do you know what I'm saying? But Facebook, that has been really huge for me. And I've had people sign up right on the spot, like literally right on the spot. Like, oh my gosh, I need to know more what you're doing, and it just gets them kind of getting to know you a little bit more or whatever. And you don't realize that they maybe have been watching you. And so that is another big way that social media has been really, really important. I put up about me getting hurt, and I had people from high school asked to join the Ultimate Reset because of the post that I put. Like, hey, I'm doing this. I just got hurt. I'm so bummed, but I need to do something drastic. So you need to be like, kind of think about when you're posting, not just to throw something up. And it's hard. There's been days where I'm like, I'm not putting up anything up because I really don't have anything to say, but I'm really heavy on my stories. But I'm like, what am I going to do? Put another, like, I just put 5 pictures of like, I'm sweaty, this, that. And I'm like, no, I'm tired of it. Like, I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. Excuse my language for recording. And then I just am very specific on my stories. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's things that you can do that, and Tracy and I have been doing this forever. I mean, I used to put so many things up that were just like, I'm like, why didn't anyone like that? I thought that was so good. And you start seeing, Trace, can I talk real quick about the New Leader Conference when I went with you? Not the New Leader, whatever, the one I went with you. There was a woman that talked about stories, and like you tell a story in your post. Like if you think about when you go onto Facebook or Instagram, I'm someone that if I start reading, like I do not read long posts. I'm really bad. I like read the top 2 sentences and the bottom 2 sentences to see if there's like something I need to get to, but I'm not good at reading in between unless it's a story. And I will literally just find myself being like, oh my God, I just read that whole thing, because it draws me in. I'm like, oh, I want to know what happened next. Oh, I want to know that. And that has been huge for my social media. And that, like in the last, what we went in October?
Yeah.
October. That has really, like, I've gotten coaches and people because I've been telling stories about things. So like if I want to put a picture up of me and the boxers, what boxers and I, whatever the correct grammar is, up, and I'm like, you know what? I can tell a story about this. Like I can go into detail about like, I woke up, I didn't feel like doing, and the more stories, the more interaction you do get on your post. And I see when I have time to kind of make a story, because there's times where you're like, oh, I don't have time. But if you literally just kind of dictate in there what's that and make it a little bit more engaging, you're going to get more people engaging in that post.
Her name is Kindra Hall, Kindra Hall, Hall. She was one of the guest speakers for the 5-star leadership retreat that Juliet and I went on in October. And she showed 2 clips. And one was a clip of this girl talking about why she started her business. And she was like, I started my business. We do XYZ. It's very passionate to me. It helps, bridge the gap between my work and my past. And then she showed another clip of the girl basically telling the exact same story, but going through the fact that she was in a car accident when she was in high school. Both of her parents were killed. She was the only survivor. And because of that incident, it inspired her to start researching whatever it is that she does for her business. So she basically used the story of her past to bridge why she's doing this entrepreneurship. And Kindra was like, look, you saw one video that said, this is my business. This is why I do it. You saw the next video where she told the story of why she did her business. And there was a huge difference in the ways we have an audience interacted with both clips were like 30 seconds, right? But like in 30 seconds, we were like, oh yeah, that was good. The next 30 seconds after she told the whole story in the same amount of time, we were like, oh my gosh.
Right. And I think it was handbags. I literally like Googled. I was like, I want to support her. She's amazing. Oh my God, that poor thing. And then I was like, oh my God, I get the point.
Yep. So if you follow Kindra Hall, she lives in New York City now. She just moved her whole family. She's writing a book on the power of storytelling. And what's really cool is that her posts on social media she practices what she talks about. And it just, as you as the reader, it will inspire you to be like, you know what, I can either talk about this, or I can actually tell the story of how I got to here on this day. And again, it doesn't mean that your post has to be really long. Like, we all don't have time to do a long post, nor does our audience want to see that from us all the time. Sometimes we just need to do something quick or something funny. But you'll get the point when you start following Kendra, and you can think about your own social media posts, and are you telling a good enough story that's capturing your audience where they're going to want to know more, or they're going to want to get on social media and go straight to Trisha or Jennifer or Pam, for that matter. So those are the takeaways I think that we wanted to hit on tonight. Is one, giving you a place where you can go do a 3-day trial on something to see, one, are you able to articulate the type of person you're going after? That's like one thing that's super important. Two, are you being proactive in making sure that you're funneling new people into your Instagram and your Facebook? And for some of you, like Pam Pritchard, you just started coaching a week ago. You might not need to bring new people into Facebook quite yet, but somebody like Trisha, who's been doing this for a year, absolutely does, right? Because all of our warm markets dry up at certain times. I noticed a big shift around month 8 where I was like, ooh, all right, I need to actually work hard at finding more people. So everyone's warm market dries up quicker than others. But when I hear brand new coaches say to me, like, I'm doing great posts, and they are, I'm doing great posts, I'm inviting. I'm like, okay, great. Show me your business activity tracker. Let's talk through it. Who are you asking? And when they still are going through it all and they're doing the vital behaviors, but they're not coming up with people, it's usually because they're not bringing fresh blood in. Because just because someone comes in as a new person watching me in February, it's probably going to take 6 months for them to figure out if they want to work with me. So that puts me into September. Right? So you want to start being proactive about filling up your tank with fresh people before your tank starts to feel dry.
Yes. And so here's another thing. We all know about my
cautionary tale.
Yeah. Just as her dry December. It was awful. It was really awful.
What is?
Dry December. I'm going to tell about and then we'll be quick because we're at the, but this is important because Tracy kept talking about, I'll be done in a moment. Thank you. So Tracy kept talking about how it's going to get dry, and you need to get on top of it. And I was like, okay, I'm on top of it. I was having all these conversations with all these people. Okay. And I felt like really good. I was like, I'm in my box room. I'm talking to all these people. They were all the wrong people. And literally I was wasting so much time, but I was thinking, and I was not even still focusing on my warm market, because your warm market really never goes away, because if you're doing what you should be doing, you're going to get referrals and it's just going to keep growing. But I thought all of a sudden, boom, no one's going to talk to me because Tracy had a post that no one got, she didn't get any likes. And I was like, what do you mean? So I panicked, and I was literally had 15 links out, and I was like, oh, okay, totally going to happen. Nothing happened. It was awful. So you also need to really think. And it basically was, I wasn't asking the right questions to these people. None of them had money, literally none. And
then how do you know it's the right person?
Well, now looking back on it, when I've looked through their social media, they were missing a lot of teeth. I should have.
Okay, well, all right, that's a different cautionary tale. They need vitamins.
But you should, I was not looking at, I was just having conversations and being like, oh my God, they're so, they, whatever, they love boxers as much as I do. But no, it was all bad. And literally when I looked back, I was like, oh, I missed that. Oh, okay. That was a detail I really should have been in there. So you do need to look at their social media and kind of do a little bit of homework and ask questions. I wasn't asking the right questions. We were just talking about dogs, and I thought they were going to definitely buy a challenge pack for me.
But I do think that brings up a good point, and I know we're out of time here, but you've got the people that, like Juliet described, maybe they just are spending money in other places or whatever, okay? But then you also have the people that legit are living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, and they're like, I really want to do this, but I don't have the money. And I will tell you out of experience, like I have a girl who's making $15 an hour right now as a vet technician. And like, if someone tells you that they can't afford a challenge pack because they're making $15 an hour and they're a single parent raising a child, what is the first thing that you might want to ask them?
Do you want to coach?
Yes. Have you ever considered coaching? And of course they're going to be like, no, I don't have time for that. Like no one ever says like, yeah, let me jump right into it right off the bat. Like, no, you have to keep working at it. So like in those scenarios, when I have somebody that I know really wants to use the product, I know really wants to make their life better, I know really would be blessed by what we do in our business, those are people, and everyone does their challenge groups differently, that a lot of times I would invite them into a challenge group, even though they're not purchasing a challenge pack. Yeah. Maybe they're going to start off with something small because I want to build trust with them and I want to show them that this opportunity can bless them, right? Yes. And again, it's learning how to ask the right questions. I've also not asked the right questions and brought people into my challenge group that then like bash what we do, or, you know, I just Googled Shakeology and it's got lead in it, or so, like something that's not even true, you know, but so you have to be careful, and it does go there is a craft in asking the right questions, and that just comes with experience. And unfortunately or fortunately, you have to fail forward, because any of us that have done this for a while, we've totally screwed up by not asking the right questions, but then you learn, you know, going forward how to qualify your people better.
Yep.
I asked a question. Sorry, I'm full of questions.
Good.
So how, with people with the, 9 to 5 job in there, what kind of storylines are we going for? Because I cannot post like for a good bit of my day.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or is there a person I could follow that you would recommend following that kind of does morning and evenings as well?
Heidi, I mean, obviously Alicia's your coach. She was not allowed to post at all during her working hours. And Heidi doesn't ever post during her working hours either. So she always posts before work and after work. And I think that her followers just learned to know that that was how Heidi's schedule was. And just remember with Facebook, I did a post on Friday night. I never really worry about like, is this a good time to do a post anymore? Because I've learned the strategy of having my post rebumped. So I did a post on Friday night at 6:30. I knew it wasn't going to get great traction right away, but it's been bumped again and it just popped up again. I had 3 more comments on it today. So that's where you can use your little tribe of coaches here to be like, hey, you're on a box chain with like an accountability pod. Can you do me a favor and bump this post for me? Or when you're replying to the people that do, if you see someone reply to one of your posts, Amber, wait a day or 2 and come back and then ask them a question, right? So like I did a post this morning. It was a workout post. I meant to post it at 6:30. It didn't go up till 10:30. Again, crappy timing, especially when it was about like getting your workout on. Everyone's done with their workout at 10:30, right? But I did see one person asked a question and she happens to go to my church. I know there's a church service tonight. Everyone who is friends with her is in church. So I have to wait until later tonight or tomorrow to ask her a question so she comes back and answers it, and then it blooms to all of our mutual friends. That's how it works. So always, always, always ask questions in the threads of your posts so that when you're having the banter back and forth, it's going to keep bursting your posts. And also remember that if your daughter's swim coach is the person that comments, all of your mutual friends with that swim coach are going to be the first to see that the swim coach commented on your post.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with your stories too. So I don't all the time. Like I usually do morning and evenings as well. It's probably not 9 to 5, but like I do it like on Facebook usually either first thing or like by 10 o'clock. And then, but I'll do stories. Yes, I'll do stories. Not all through that day. I mean, I'm really not that interesting. So like during the day, there's not much going on except me talking to my dogs like a crazy person. But your stories get bumped back up too. So like if you add, I do stuff in the morning and then I don't sometimes touch it for a long time, and then I will go back and that bumps it back to the beginning of the feed. And then people see it. So just because you're doing it at 2 different times, that's not hurting you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys know about Hootsuite? You can schedule your posts on that as well. I don't know if you talked about that in another call, but.
No,
Yeah, we've used Hootsuite for a while, but then again, it's not organic.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
if you're going to schedule a post in Facebook through Hootsuite, Facebook won't give you any algorithmic love.
Got it. Good to know.
Instagram's a little bit different because I know Hootsuite works for Instagram too. But the Rachel Hollis app that she loves is Planoly, Planoly. And she uses that specifically for Instagram. You can schedule Instagram posts. Yeah, okay. Planoly. And I don't use it to schedule because I put all my posts through Lightroom. This is like a 2.0 training, but the Lightroom it's just certain lighting that I use for all of my pictures because I want my media to flow. But what I do use Planoly for is when you attach it to your Facebook, you can at least look, if you attach it to your Instagram, you can at least look, and it shows you by post how many likes that you're getting, and it gives you like an algorithmic view to see which ones did well. And I do like that feature. So,
but does that count as like not an organic post?
Well, so like I'm not using it to schedule. I'm using it to look. So it just gives me like, okay, this is what my feed looks like. And then I can tap on the picture and it tells me immediately how many likes I had. So at a quick glance, I can be like, ooh, this one did really well. And it's a picture of my family. Ooh, this one did really well. It's a picture of my husband. Oh, this one didn't do well. It's a picture of me, with a headband on. Maybe I shouldn't wear headbands. Like you can just kind of play around with things.
Now, Trace, with the Planoly, because I use the preview app, which is the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't think you can put it in there, but it doesn't post for you. It just like sends you a reminder to do it. Like you can keep it where it's done, but it doesn't actually like at 8:00 go up for you like Hootsuite.
It does. It posts for you.
Oh, it does now. Okay.
Yeah, but mine doesn't post because in Lightroom it changes the dimension and my picture becomes too big of a,
Okay,
but we could probably do a Planoly training call specifically. And Angela is about ready to do an Instagram training for all of her brand new coaches. So she's going to open that up to anybody that wants to sit in on it. I'm sure she'll put a post up in Faithfully Fit Central. Okay, so to wrap this up, we just want to bring attention to the fact that you want to be thinking about how to expand your market. Facebook is a little bit different. Like I join a lot of different groups in Facebook. I'm in a new gymnastics mom group trying to find like-minded women that I can have dialogue with. And I'm asking a lot of questions in there. So then it's not weird if I friend them because people are a little bit more cautious than they used to be. It used to be you could go into some of these groups and just friend anybody and they would take it. And now people don't like that at all. I loved Juliet's point in Instagram and Facebook when people are interacting with you, when people are liking your stuff, when people are watching your stories. That's a great way to start conversations.
Yep.
Period. Remember that if you're nervous about asking someone to be a coach or to be in your challenge group or to start a conversation, they are nervous too. I promise you. They are nervous too. There's enough times I have to tell you of when I've reached out to someone, they're like, thank you so much. I would have loved to have reached out to you, but I've always second guessed, right? They don't know 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're not listening to Mel, right? So be the brave person and reach out to them first. I promise you most of the time they're flattered or they just say, no, thank you, not now. Or please think of me later. It's not the right time. And storytelling. We really wanted to come across and give you guys just some examples on storytelling and give you somebody to follow so that you can think through your posts on how to tell a story. And again, the content that we've got that Alicia's posting, you don't have to put it up, but like Trisha said, she's using it in a manner of, hey, I'm planning my post, but I'm stuck. And you can use that as a little bit of a piece of inspiration. But get out there and post. People want to know you. Promise.
Yep. Hey, one thing I wanted to add is it's too late to put them in mail, but my Arbonne supplier sent me a paper Valentine thanking me for my business. And so tomorrow, everyone who's been a coach or a customer is getting an electronic Valentine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. Love it. All right, you guys. We will throw in some homework. I'll give you a clue. It's going to be helpful for the surge call that we're having next week anyway. There is a new business activity tracker that we are going to start using. So I'm going to put it in Faithfully Fit Central, print that, because this is the cool thing. It starts on Thursday. So we are closing out next week. Does anyone remember what the topic is for next week? Anyone? Inviting to the coaching opportunity. So that's how we're going to close out our calls. Or actually, that's the last call. Sorry, what do we have next week? Anyway, the last one is inviting to the coaching opportunity. I forget what next week is. But the cool thing is Thursday to Wednesday is when this new BAT is going to work. So part of your homework is printing up the new BAT and using it for the next week. And there's some really cool power hours and action hours that are going on in Beachbody Champions page. We'll be sharing a little bit about that too, just to freshen it up and bring some things from other teams into our power hours as a team. Cool?
Awesome. Yep.
All right.
I hope you guys got some good stuff.
All right. Sorry we went over a little bit. We will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.